Welcome to the first episode of FindingValue, where we do NBA best ball, NBA fantasy, and talk all things basketball. Let's get into it. Like I said at the top, here we are with FindingValue, where we talk all about basketball, best ball, fantasy contests for NBA. So it should be an absolute blast. As you guys all know, football is the main thing for this channel, but I think we're going to be jumping into some NBA contests, and should be a ton of fun. So I've been having fun with this contest. I think it's super cool. They have a setup where the regular season is kind of where the bigger prize pool is. And I thought that was a pretty fun wrinkle to add to this. So just look at this real quick. We got a 10K prize to first right there. This is for the regular season. So same with like an NFL best ball. You have to advance to the finals, the qualifiers, quarterfinals, semifinals, then championship. That's how you get this prize pool up here that has 10K up top. And then there's a regular season prize pool that has more up top, which is 75K to first. That's 32, 750 to second, 20K to third. So obviously, top 10, you're feeling pretty good with 1,000. But yeah, it's super, super fun contest. One little wrinkle is definitely just the fact that there may be overlay on this, which does make it a little more attractive. If you are wanting to get in this thing will close on Tuesday. I believe that is the Tuesday, the 24th. Yeah. So not much time left in this tournament. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's a fun one. I personally enjoy NBA, fantasy NBA, just in general. I think it's a fun watch. I think it's pretty entertaining. It's like right after football is obviously top for me, especially with the fantasy content too. But NBA is behind it, and then that's pretty much where I stop. But I think I could dabble in like NHL or MLB a bit, but I think NBA and NFL are my top two right now. I'd like to get good at like all of them, or at least just learn. Maybe not be good at everything, but I like to learn them and then hopefully excel at everything. But because you don't really necessarily need to know it all perfectly, as long as you know strategy well. But knowing the players and everything is very helpful, which I think I have a pretty good grasp on the NBA right now. So I do pay attention a good amount to what's going on in the NBA. But yeah, this is a little different. I know most people are here for NFL, but I think this is a fun little way to branch out and get, potentially new people in, but also just, I could bring new guests on that may enjoy this more. And it kind of just gives me more options. I don't really want to be stuck in one path. I want to be flexible where it's all fantasy content is welcome here. Because, NFL may not be the focus of this channel down the road, but right now it definitely is. And for the foreseeable future it is, but maybe it might turn into more centered around fantasy sports in general. Could be all sports, so, who knows where it ends up going. But with FindingValue as a whole, it could really go any direction. But we want to stick it around fantasy mostly. So Victor Wembanyama went pick 5. That's crazy. A little bit of reach. He usually goes around the 20th pick, I believe. So obviously a lot of hype on Wemby. Don't think I would take him at pick 5. However, when this contest first opened, I did jump in a few entries, and he was going at pick 30, 40, and he usually got reached on. I was trying to get some later shares of him. Did not really have success with that, but I did get some other ADP values. So the same with NFL, where players will start out at a lower ADP than they probably should be. in an efficient market, and you can kind of take advantage of that. Strategy wise, there's a few different like ways you can draft. Obviously, you can go pretty heavy on guards, wings, and bigs. So you start two guards every week, and you start two wings and then one big, and then you have two flex, I believe, or is it one? Just one flex. So that does make it a little different. Just having one flex just changed the dynamic a bit. Oh man, I've been having this late pick every time. It's really frustrating. Let's go ahead and go with. I'll go Trey and Durant. Just take ADP here. Last time I took Steph and Durant, so I'm gonna go Trey and Durant this time. Trae Young has a huge ceiling. Gets a lot of assists. Stuff stat sheet, so I think he's a good pick. Durant, obviously, we know what he can do. These guys are kind of like, there's two ways you can go about it. Obviously, I think if you are playing for the regular season, which you probably should in this, you want to get points early, but you also want to have juice late, which I think is where like the rookies and the young like up and coming players come through. Whereas like these two guys, I feel like are both like locked and loaded. As long as they're healthy, they're going to score me some good points. If I get a few more of those type of archetypes on my team, I'm going to want to like load up on the younger guys after that. Because like you may have enough to like get you to there, and then you may need like a little extra juice to get you over the top by like a rookie, or maybe a team is tanking at the end of the season, or like sitting their starters at the end of the season, and you can like benefit from that. So Mikal Bridges goes at 15. He's pretty normal there. I haven't took much Dame Lillard. I wasn't really sure where he was going. Now he's in Milwaukee. Seems like a fine pick at was that 16? Yeah. What I found is that the wing is like the most risky position right now. Like it's the most fragile, where there's not a lot. Like it's not a deep player pool, where like there's like 30, 40 wings that you feel pretty good about, and then you're like really thin at the position. Whereas guard, I feel like you could go really late in the draft and still find people that are interesting. And big is somewhat the same, but guard feels like the most deep position, where like you could go to like pick 160 and you still feel pretty good about the guys there. So that's kind of where I go. Like sometimes I gravitate to like going no guard early and just go double wing, or like a wing and a center. Wings are similar to, or centers are similar to, or I guess big is what they're called here. They're similar to tight ends in best ball, where like you want at least two. You can roll with 3 if you really want to, but it depends on your capital. So I feel like that's kind of similar to the tight end position in football. So whereas you don't want to take 3 early tight ends or / bigs where you can't even use one of those bigs is not going to be in your lineup every week, and you don't want to do that. So it's like a onesie position almost. Obviously, you could have up to 2 bigs in your lineup if you have your flex as your big, but which is fine. But you don't want to, like, if you're gonna play for both of them to be in your lineup. So let's say you take Jokic and then you take Bam Adebayo in the 3rd round. You don't want to take another big for like the rest of the whole entire draft, because you're just wasting a pick at that point. Because if Jokic isn't healthy and he does bad or something, you're not gonna win the regular season, and I don't think you'll even advance either. Juice McCaffrey, I see around a lot. He's a sharp player, or they're a sharp player. So we got Tatum, Steph, Zion is super fun. A lot of people like Zion this year. I think he's got a lot of upside too. So this guy's just reaching. He's got Chet, Paolo, and Victor Wembanyama. You can get Chet much later than this too. Wembanyama. Still don't know how to say his name, but Karl-Anthony Towns goes. But yeah, I like the Tatum, Curry, Zion start. That's super sick. Well played. Well played there. Trey Durant feels pretty good though. It's not bad. All right, so I'm coming up here. Not a fun spot for me. I actually really don't like any of these guys at all. It's kind of a gross spot for me. I guess Paul George is fine. Brunson's one of my favorites here. I haven't taken much Kyrie. I don't know. I just can see him missing a lot of games for some reason. But maybe I'm wrong. I'll take Scotty Barnes. I've cooled off my Scotty Barnes exposure, but I feel like he's still a good pick. And I could go back down and grab Cade if Brunson's gone. I can go Jamal Murray, maybe. Maybe I'll go Jamal Murray instead of Cade. I did like Cade this year, but Brunson goes. So I'll go ahead and grab Scotty Barnes and Jamal Murray. Feels fine. Obviously, I like getting a big there, but there's a pretty fun range. This Porzingis, Ayton, Sengun. Ayton I wouldn't really include, but Kessler. This whole range is pretty fun for my guards and centers here. Sengun's one of my favorites, but he never falls to me. In my last 3 drafts, I've been getting the 11th pick, and it just doesn't line up for me to get him. But I like this team so far. We got a upside kind of swing with Scotty Barnes, which I think is a fine way to play. Jamal Murray was great last year. Don't expect him much different. He's not like a superstar, but he will give me a lot of points. Cade is kind of that guy. It's more of a risk reward where it's is Cade really good on that offense still? Coming off the injury last year, probably, but it's hard to say. My favorite picks in this whole entire contest are these Portland guys: Scoot, Simons. This backcourt is just amazing. Yeah, the Trailblazers backcourt is just awesome. Sorry, they have Scoot, Simons. Scoot's a rookie. Simons, and they got Sharp. Jeremy Grant's fine as well, and then they have a couple other guys that are somewhat interesting. But Scoot and Simons are going to be super fun to watch this year, and Sharp's obviously really talented too. It's this young front court, or yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Backcourt, sorry. Jabari's flew up a lot. This guy's just vibe-based drafting because, yeah, I was taking a lot of Jabari, and I think he was pick 70, but he's been shooting up the board as well. I took Banchero much later too. He's been shooting up the board, so I feel I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a hoops expert by any means, a basketball expert, but I kind of know my stuff in NBA, and I feel I have a good grasp of what players are good fantasy producers, just from some fantasy background, but at surface, I could see that I was Jabari feels pretty underpriced given what he did last year, and obviously he's same with NFL. These sophomore players that could take a leap are really valuable, probably even more so in the NBA because they could really take a big leap sometimes. So, but it's hard to say. A lot of factors matter. And also, the older players can continue to produce all season. It's just the question is will these older players take a rest day? Will they take more rest days? Because in a season-long contest, that's really, really not ideal. If you're gonna get players that are gonna miss because they're older, it's really gonna hurt your potential. So Kessler's still there. I pretty much always grab Simons if I can. I'm at the point where it's if I can get him at 60 or even a little bit before that, I'm taking him just because I know that offense is going to be consolidated between these 3 guys primarily. And I know that they have a ton of upside just because this guy is really vibe-based draft. Wow, he's grabbing all the bigs. That sucks. Sengun went too. This will be interesting. Maybe I'll do a 4-big team and kind of play it a little differently than I usually do. We'll see. If Porzingis is there, I think I'll have to take him. But not a fun range for me. I really don't like any of these guys that much. But ultimately, this whole group is pretty fun. Yeah, this is probably where I stop. Like Portis is fine. I could go 4. I could go 4 bigs. I never do that, but it's not bad, I guess. Same as like the 4 tight end build. We'll see. If Porzingis falls to me, I'll probably grab him, but this is where I'll take Porzingis and Scoot, most likely, if they're available. But yeah, anyways, that backcourt for Portland just seems so like valuable because there's not going to be much defense played on that team. They're all talented. They can all shoot the ball. So just a good environment for fantasy points. So, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Double up my guys here. Get Scoot and Simons, and then I'll probably cool off on guard for a bit. I'll probably take. This is probably like a 6 guard team. So this is going to be like a 6-6-4 build. This will be like different. Like I think the primary builds in this are 6-7-3, 3 bigs, 7 wings, 6 guards, or 7 guards, 6 wings, and 3 bigs. And then if you take 2 early bigs, then you go 7-7-2. But you kind of just have to play it by ear, like how the draft falls to you. Because sometimes big gets starved a little bit faster. Like in this room, I didn't really get any of the bigs I like, and I feel like there's a pretty big tier gap between Porzingis and Claxton. But I mean, Claxton's fine. Miles Turner's fine too, but it just doesn't do it for me. If I get Miles Turner to come back, I would take him. But like Gobert is just not a guy I like. Like I don't see the fantasy upside for him that much. Like he obviously will get a lot of rebounds and stuff, and he's fine, but it's just not. He doesn't really score that well. Just not a fun click. So it's got with the 2-2-2 build. But yeah, I think I can make it work with 4. If I get the right guys, I feel pretty good about a 4-piece build. Depending on what wings are available, I might grab a wing and a big next, or I might just grab 2 bigs and go with like a Mark Williams and Pirtle setup. I could think there's worse things I could do. But yeah, people are definitely reaching in this draft. People are not messing around. This I Parker guy is really just vibing, bro. It just makes like here's the way I see this. So you take Victor and Wemby, Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren in the first 3 rounds. After that point, you take Kessler in the 5th. Kessler, your 5th round pick, is effectively not going to score points. Or worse, your 3rd round pick's not scoring points. Or worse, your 1st round pick's not scoring points. It can work, obviously, if one of them goes off every week. Or 2 of them. 2 of them need to go off every week for a big score. And that's fine. That can happen. But you're really just narrowing down the options you have by doing that. So it's not for me. But and correlation is you'd think would be bad probably for a season-long type contest, but I think it's fine. It's kind of like if this team is scoring a lot of points and I'm not paying a ton of capital, I feel like it makes sense to go for them. Obviously, it's like, okay, maybe Simons has a game and Scoot has a down game. But in my opinion, I think they both can thrive in a fast-paced offense with probably a lot not great defense being played. And if that's the case, then, they both can go for 30. They could both go for 20 real-life points a game with, rebounds, assists, and stuff on top of that. Honestly, they both might like Simons, I could see averaging like 25 a game. I could see Scoot averaging like 20 and like 5 assists, maybe even better. That's like a pretty like light projection. They could definitely do better than that. So that's kind of the upside case for them. Whereas if like, I don't know, if you're taking like Dame and Giannis, it seems kind of like, obviously they both could go off, but it just feels like it's really thin in your first and second pick to grab them from the same team. When typically it's like one guy has their game. But I think it could make some sense in this contest. I could be wrong. Like I have a lot of like stacks, and maybe it's like, okay, maybe pick the best player on every team. Maybe that's what it is, but I think in the sense of like handcuffing, you don't want to do that. Like unless you're taking 2 late ones, you don't take Trae Young and then take like his backup later in the draft. Like it just doesn't make sense. If Trae Young's not getting there, you're really gonna be in trouble. So it doesn't make me like more inclined to do that. Hurdle's my favorite big here. He's gone to Jesus. All right, well, we're just gonna have to take one. So we can take a big and a wing here. I mean, Chris Middleton's not bad. Cam Johnson's not bad. Ben Simmons is still here. Russ is here. Tobias is here. I mean, is Middleton gonna be back this year? Like he's gonna play more? Does downgrade him a bunch having Lillard there, I'd say, but obviously they lost Drew Holiday. Hard to say. I kind of like Cam Johnson's upside, especially in like this room that I have here. It does change the dynamic a bit. I'm gonna grab Cam Johnson and Mark Williams instead. Obviously, I don't. It sucks having to reach 10 picks on my big because it's like reaching in this is like a little different, but I'm not really worried about it because I'm gonna get 4 bigs, and I really wanted to get a guy that I feel really good about. And Jared Allen, I feel okay about as like a second guy, but like taking Mark Williams here is like, okay, maybe I can get a ADP 50 guy in the 80s, and he can help me. But I just think like Jared Allen is like gonna return this draft capital and not really smash it unless like Mobley gets hurt. Then maybe there's a path, but I don't know. I don't see Jared Allen as much more than like a double guy. Like that's all he really does. But maybe I'm reading that wrong, but I don't know. I just don't. His upside seems zapped with Mobley, and Mobley's already going at pick 38. So, yeah. But yeah, I like Nurkic a ton. I think Nurkic is fun. Obviously, with Durant, maybe like Durant gets some assists of Nurkic. The whole team's rolling. I think that's a fun way to play it. So I'll be playing around with them. Definitely gonna go 4 bigs here. Definitely a weird strategy for me, but I think it could be stronger than you think it would be. So it's just like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna figure out how to play big through later guys, and then just try to like load up my other positions. Really, Ben Simmons is a guy that's been moving up a bunch, so don't hate that pick at all. About halfway done with the draft here. I think we have 16 picks, right? Yeah, 16 picks. Jonas Valanciunas goes. Yes, hopefully I can get Wendell Carter. That's the other guy I don't mind in this range. But yeah, like I said, big is like one of those positions that could get starved, and it seems like people are not afraid to just grab up the guy they want, because they're just good. They're going quicker. Like every single big is going a little bit ahead of ADP for the most part. I mean, not every big, but a lot of them are. So it does change the dynamic when people are reaching for them. But hopefully people hold and let me get the guy I want. But yeah, I mean, it gets thin fast because if everyone wants to keep grabbing bigs, it gets really the player pool gets really thin. But I wouldn't mind Duran and Nurk here and then I can grab one of Okongwu, Portis, and Reed as my last guy. That would be pretty fun in terms of like a big room. Yeah, the way I see it is these guys are just going to roll together. And then obviously if one gets hurt, it could, I mean, it wouldn't be good for this team specifically, but I think it could still be a path. So Sochan's here. Obviously love Markelle Fultz. I love Eason. I love Jarris Walker is one of my favorite picks. I took a lot of him. I've been coming around to Melton. I think he's an awesome pick. If Harden gets traded, Melton looks really good as like the second guy to the guard position with Maxey. Could even run point. I mean, Maxey's a good shooter. He could end up being like not really the point guard, and we could throw Melton in as the point guard potentially if it works out better that way. Jaden Ivey goes. See, I don't have much Jalen Duran, so that's kind of what makes me like want to take him. I definitely want Nurkic on this team. See, Sharp is probably where I would take it too far. I think it's like I'll take two of them, and it's not that they can't all three do good, but it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna take two and like hopefully get the weeks to line up where I want them to. But it could be like, you know what, they all do great, and maybe Sharp's the guy you want of that whole group. Maybe that's how it ends up panning out. But all these guys are three or two bigs, so they're not. They shouldn't be dying for another big. And as you can see, usually guard is the most like plentiful position on the board. So Tyus goes at pick 104. That's a good value for him. Matherin goes at 105. Not bad. Ant and Lillard is a good combo with Jimmy. Seems good. Jared Jackson. Sharp goes. Okay. Sharp goes. Maybe I will take Wendell Carter. It's one of the guys I do take a little bit more of. Just looking at my exposure really quick just to make this decision real quick. Wendell Carter goes anyways. Doesn't matter. I have one Duren share and two Nurkic shares. So I will make that. Oh, dude, Sochan is interesting too. Nah, just give me this. Very fun group. I can even stop here, and I think I'm tempted to stop at big now with Mark Williams, Duren, and Nurkic. Like, these are three guys that are going to probably start all year on – one of them's on a really good team. Two of them are on, like, teams that probably aren't going to be very good. Usually that means they aren't going to play a lot of defense, but it depends. So I have six Sochan teams. Not bad. I have about 25 of these teams, so not a ton, but definitely a good chunk. I definitely made it a point to get some volume on this. I think I did 4 teams last year, 4 or 5 teams. I have one advance to the next round, and once again, you're going to see a lot of me when it comes playoff time. For NFL, NBA, I just love it, dude. I am all over it. It's super fun. Game theory, strategy. It is literally like the most fun strategy. Yeah, there's not much that can top it in terms of like a strategy. I just die like it. I live for it, man. That's how you know you really enjoy what you're doing, when it's like it's so fun. Like every year you're thinking about it, and you're like, wow, it's like so fun to do. I can't wait to do it again. Even though I obviously enjoy the regular season stuff for fantasy and NFL and best ball and stuff, I really love the playoff stuff. And I know I'm not the only one in that boat, but it's a blast. So hopefully you guys can share some enjoyment with me in that regard. So this is a good group. Houston guys I like a lot. Same concept as the other guys, where it's like I like the pace of these players, and I think they're going to have a ton of high scoring games with little defense. So similar stuff there. Jalen Johnson seems like a fun bet to make. We got KJ Martin. We got Cool Bally that has been getting some better work as of late. Max Strus. Woof. Whitmore's there too. Grady Dick. One of the best guard punts is down here too. We have Keontae George. It's a great guard punt. But yeah, we'll see. I think like 3 is like 4 just seems like too much. Like if I went like my first big is Zubac or something, then maybe it's like, all right, Zubac, Portis, Adams, and like Reed, and then just like hopefully it works out. But I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. Zach Collins is going to play some center minutes too, but they do have Pirtle, so. We'll see if I can get Eason. I usually try to push Eason to this pick, and I can never get him, but we'll see if this room is friendly to me. I think a lot of people like Tari Eason, so yeah. I think Tari Eason's a sophomore now, right? Or a junior, sorry. Yeah, I think he is his 3rd year in the league. So I got 2 bigs I like here, so I'm hoping I get one of them. Otherwise, I'm kind of stuck in a spot I don't like very much. Obviously, Kuminga looked really good in the preseason. Has looked really good in the preseason, but CP3 goes. So we got Steph, CP3, Harden, McCollum, Simmons, Tatum, Zion, PJ Washington, Obi Toppin, and Sengun and Claxton. It's pretty fun group there. Looking at a different team, by the way. Steve Bagos. I don't think it's gonna happen, dude. I'm not gonna believe. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Hopefully, I can get one of Jarris or Eason. Otherwise, my decision is gonna be really hard, and I don't like that at all. It's never fun making me think way too hard about a 12th round best ball pick for NBA. Gary Trent goes. Okay, come on. One of you guys, please. Yes. Give me both. Give me both. That would be so awesome. Easton and Walker, I'd be so happy with both of them here. Damn it. All right. Well, I'm happy with Tower Easton there. Jarris Walker is like my highest owned guy, so I'm not gonna cry about not getting him. I could go like, I really like this Melton stuff. I think he's got tons of upside. If regardless if Harden gets hurt, Maxey gets hurt, he's got tons of upside. But he is a good player with a lot of like he gets steals, he can shoot well. I think he's a good player, so I like him a lot. I guess the real question is, do I feel comfortable with this group of bigs? Because I can go back to the 6-7-3, which seems fine, but I could just go with the 6-6-4 instead. So it's hard to say. I mean, there's not much bigs that are like really usable down here. Like I think Looney's fine. Like he's gonna play a lot. Obviously Steven Adams. I think Steven Adams is like one of the best picks back here, but I don't really know like his situation. And if they decide to like change things up or not once he comes back, if he is full healthy till they start the game, which it seems like he's like healthy enough to play. So, but he was like playing like a lot of minutes towards the middle of last year until he got hurt and missed like the rest of the season. So it's kind of just a risky spot, dude. I don't know. I have Zach Collins too. I don't know. It just gets really gross. Like Nas Reed is like far as I want to go, and he's like pretty. He's pretty good in general. Kathy Jordan goes. So one of my favorite guard positions is gone. Been seeing some good work from these guys in the preseason. Curious if like Dembski is on the depth chart. Golden State depth chart. Because I guess, I mean, who's playing if Paul or Steph gets hurt? Like, is it gonna be Podzimski, Moses Moody? I always look at the situations where it's like, if someone goes down, is there like one person that could fill both spots? And that's like how I feel about some of these positions. But that one is interesting. Jalen Johnson goes. Oubre seems fun too on the Philly to kind of go with like the same Philly bet, but don't know if I'll get either of them. Oubre, we got Trey Murphy. Decisions just get a little bit harder. The decision tree does change as we just get farther in this. Coming in on the 13th round here. 3 more rounds left. We have a 5-4-3 build. I'll go ahead and go through my team. We got Trae Young, Jamal Murray, Scoot Henderson, Simon's got the Portland stack there with Anthony Melton as my guards. We got wings, Kevin Durant, Scotty Barnes, Cam Johnson, Tari Eason as wings. 3 bigs, Mark Williams, Jalen Duren, and Nurkic. So we got like a 3 mid-tier bigs. That feels pretty good. We'll see. Because Nas Reed's pretty tempting to just throw on to this build, but I'm not gonna force it. Just because I feel like all these guys got a good pathway to minutes. Damn, Kubali went too. Wow. People are taking all the guys I like. That's fine. I'm trying to get more Kubali exposure, but he's getting grabbed real early. We also have Jovic as like an okay wing bet. We have Strother. We'll see. I think Strother makes some sense to grab late as a. So here's where it's like, I have a couple of guys that feel pretty good. And this is where like you really look at wing and like this is really rough. Like it doesn't get much better than what you have, but I would be ecstatic to get Trey Murphy here because I feel like he's a big gap here. Not only because he's a pretty good player, but he's like injured and he would be going much higher if he was healthy. But we'll see if he's healthy by then. It's a little tough. Now, this is tempting. Like, I don't know. I think it's like one of those things where it's like if I grab a little bit later big, then maybe 4 makes more sense. But like it's really hard to justify. It's like justifying 4 tight ends is hard, and that's an 18. Like it's different when there's like 18th round picks that are viable. But like here, it's like once you get to pick round 13, like the only guard that looks interesting is Robert Williams and Nas Reed, and like that's even thin. Like, it's not great. It's not great at all. I'll go Murphy. And I will say Monk is one of my favorite guys to grab up. Oh, but I might go a different route instead. I like Strother a ton. I like the Martin guys. Ooh, man. That's fine. I'll grab Monk. Okay, so it's probably grabbing 2 wings late here because this guy went 2. So this seems fine. Like 80 and Nasri seems all right. It's like 80's going to carry me all season, and then Nasri will be there if like Towns or Ogarber's out. I think that's a good bet because we know Nasri has a ceiling, and Gobert and what's his name could be out. So Gobert or Towns comes out, and Nasri could be an absolute smash. So let's look at this depth chart for the Bucks. I wonder how much Malik Beasley's been getting drafted. I feel like he's a pretty sneaky play. Obviously, if it's tough. I guess the way I see it is like Lillard's going to miss some games, and I think he's like just a good play to toss in your lineup then. But I will say I don't think I need another player on this team in terms of like a guard. But Malik Beasley is tempting. I was looking at like projected starting shooting guard for the Bucks. It looks like it's going to be Beasley, but it's like there's not a lot of like information about whether or not they want to like keep him there. Like there's a very good chance he could get knocked out of the position. So it's kind of just gross in general. So which makes sense. It's like they have 3 guys. They could put Grayson Allen back there. They could put Pat Connaughton back there. Or they could put Jovic wins. Damn, that's a guy I wanted to take. Or they could take Malik Beasley. So it's kind of a gross spot for them in terms of just who. Paul Reed's a good late round pick as well. I'll say that. And B gets hurt. Paul Reed is a like must start player. Chalk and DFS, definitely just like a big player that you want on your team. It's tough, dude. Like it's really tough to decide these players. Cam Whitmore makes sense. I don't think Cam Whitmore is really a play against Eason, but it's more a play over like I don't really know what Cam Whitmore. I don't see the path to him getting a lot of minutes this year. Like he'll play. And I guess if he's that good, he'll play more, but it really doesn't feel like a good path for him getting on the field much. So the last couple picks here, and then we're done. The wing position, like I said, is pretty thin, but there is guys back here that are interesting. Like these are people that you want to take a shot on, kind of like those kind of guys. Like you're like, okay, maybe this guy like does something for me. But they're not fun picks. Cam Whitmore goes. I mean, he's been playing pretty well in the preseason, so that might be why he ended up going. KJ Martin went 2. Damn. Grady Dick's the guy I usually gravitate towards, but we'll see. Because I have Kevin Durant, Scotty Barnes, Cam Johnson, Eason. Like so, Durant is like feels like my constant here, and then Barnes is like I feel like could be inconsistent, but obviously I'm drafting him like he's not. Cam Johnson's pretty inconsistent. He's a very shooting reliant player. Easton may be a minutes guy. Murphy's going to miss time, so I really think I need 2 more wings here. And I just don't know. I think just having 2 more is just going to be helpful in general. I don't think that matters too much what I'm going with in terms of like when they're playing, but we'll take a look at a couple of depth charts. So Vanderbilt is projected to start. Tyson had some good games too. Denver, he's been undrafted as well. What about just Grady Dick? I've been taking a lot. I don't see a lot of people talking about him, but feels like he has a path to scoring more points. Obviously, Scotty Barnes is there, so probably shouldn't have taken him because I think they're kind of negative correlation. Ah, man, I think I regret that now. But I would have taken way more if I could have, or Martin even. I guess they're both correlated in a way. Like I think Grady Dick probably slots in more as like a shooting guard. Well, I guess to be fair, like Scotty Barnes plays a lot of positions. So I don't know. Still a word if Siakam gets traded, Grady Dick or OG gets traded, I think there's a world where they get him going somewhere else. So not my favorite. I wish I would have gotten one of KJ Martin or a different wing. So this is like what I meant. Like I ended up getting a little bit shut out of wing. Like I still got good players, but I feel like I did get shut out a little bit of wing. Whereas like I felt awesome cooking Malik Monk and Melton. It felt a lot worse to pick Cam Johnson and Trey Murphy. Obviously, if Durant and Barnes carry me, I have a lot of upside here with like when he comes back, if he comes back healthy. Easton, obviously, just upside every week. Cam Johnson has his shooting games. And then we have these 2 rookies that are like kind of, who knows what happens. And I feel pretty good at center. I have like upside, but a lot of like safety. So I don't mind that at all. But I do wish I got like another instead of Trey Murphy, instead of Strother, instead of Dick. I would have loved to get a guy like Jovic. I felt a little bit better about, but I would have loved to get a guy like Kubali, a guy that should be projected to play early. Jalen Johnson projected to play very early. Even like a Kyle Anderson, Kuminga, like guys we know are going to play a little bit at least. So it does make it thin, but at least like I know I have two starters with like a good chunk of players. That 2 starters with Durant and Scotty with like a bunch of good pieces around it. So. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Dime Site. I think it'll be fun to like talk about NBA best ball, NBA playoff best ball over the course of the season. I plan to do more of these. I don't know if I'll do another best ball one until next season, or like when more contests open, I might do more. But we'll see. Definitely a fun thing for me, and I think talking hoops is going to be fun. And I'll be in the we'll do some battle royales for hoops too, so I won't be like we're done until next year. So I'll definitely be back with more Dime Site for you guys to take a look at and to kind of learn from. To go over this team real quick, we'll go guard. We went 6 guards with Trae Young, Jamal Murray, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Anthony Melton, and Malik Monk. We went 7 wings with Durant, Scotty Barnes, Cam Johnson, Tari Easton, Trey Murphy, Julian Strother, and Grady Dick. And then we went 3 centers with a mid, mid-range center build that I felt pretty decent about. We reached on Mark Williams, but we got Duren and Nurkic. 3 centers I feel pretty solid about. So honestly, a very fun team. Appreciate you guys hanging out during the process. Hopefully this is the winner. It's a 75K winner. I think it's got a good mixture of like youth and upside with players with good floors. I think that might be my biggest leak is like I might be playing like too much like NFL where I go way too much for upside late, where it could like I could be like, oh, Scoot has a slow start and I end up really hurting myself. by the time it matters. Then again, I could still be in a good shot for like the playoff tournament. But I want to be in a good spot either way. So does hurt, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I wish I did a little bit different here on this one, but it feels pretty good. I guess the question is like, I think ultimately shooting for upside is going to pay off in the biggest way. But there's a world where like a quote unquote boring lineup wins, but it's just like I picked all these guys that I know are going to be good, and we know are good already, even at their ADP, even if they're not the most sexy option. Like I'm getting players I know are good. Like I'm getting the DeRozan, I'm getting the Levine, I'm getting the. Let's look at these guys in the front. Kawhi Leonard. Hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys. Like I'm getting a discount because he's healthy. So it's like I'm taking Mikal Bridges. I'm taking those kind of guys. It's like instead of Kyrie Irving, a guy we know is going to be good, why don't I take Cade Cunningham? We know what Kyrie is. We know he's going to be good. Maybe that's more valuable. But Cade could be the only guy. He won't be the second guy. He could be the only guy on a Detroit offense that is pretty bad. And he could be the main guy doing all the work compared to Kyrie as the second man up, at least. You could see a down game. And I don't think that would be surprising at all. So I think it's just one of those things of like how you want to play, and I'm always going to play for like the biggest risk. So I'm willing to take two risks as opposed to like two calculated like thought processes where like it's more safe. I'd rather take two risks, especially in a tournament like this. And I just think like if I want to bubble to the top, I need the upside of a guy like Julian Strother or a guy like Cade or a guy like Scoot or any of the rookies of Wemby, any of the other bigs that are a little cheaper. Like it's just there's a better path for me there. So that's the way I see it. But enough rambling. I think it makes sense there's a lot of different builds that could work, but obviously they changed the tournament this year to be centered around regular season. So that will change the way this whole entire tournament is scored, change the way drafting should be done potentially. But I think there's like different ways you can attack it. So I think I attacked it in a good way here. I got a good amount of upside at every position with a good amount of floor. Sometimes I shoot too much for the moon and probably land too far away from the stars. But I think in these kind of builds where I grab like two pretty reliable guys, Trey and Jamal, with a more risky but fun group of Scoot, Simons, Melton, Monk. Same with the Durant. I got Durant's floor every week with a little bit of a scarier group. So the difference here is like I don't feel like as confident with Barnes scoring. Like I know he's going to play a lot, but I don't feel as confident about like him being a locked and loaded scorer across Durant on this team. So if Scotty Barnes is a locked and loaded scorer every week, then I'm looking at Durant, Scotty most weeks, and then I sprinkle in Cam Johnson big week, Easton Edwards big week. Murphy's coming healthy, and then like, later in the season, these guys could be awesome. So kind of the way I see it. But yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the Dime site. We'll be back soon enough with some more content. Like I said, I'll do some like daily contests for NBA if we're not back with another one of these best ball ones. But I'm gonna keep hammering this contest until it's closed. And yeah, it's a fun time. So appreciate everyone hanging out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Good luck in fantasy, and if you do any of these contests, good luck in these as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you sub. 25 subs, we hit that goal. We are 27 of 50 headed to the next goal. Would appreciate any love and support. Drop a sub, drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about the basketball content. If you like it, if you don't like it, what you think I should do. Obviously, I'm going to keep doing what I enjoyed, but if you suggest that you like basketball, maybe I'll bring it around more. If you don't like it that much, maybe I'll bring it around less. But I think it'll be something that I integrate in regardless, and I think is an important part of this channel. because I don't want it to be one dimensional, but I also want it to be centered around what my audience wants for me and what they think is most enjoyable for them. So got to think of it both ways, but I also, want to show my personality and be able to do like the things I enjoy. And that is at this point all fantasy football. I just like it all. It's all fantasy sports I love. I'm all about it. Even the sports I'm not as big on, I still like find enjoyment in it. And on a site like Underdog, it just makes the whole ecosystem like more enjoyable to play fantasy sports. So platform the people for a reason. So kudos to Underdog as always. But anyways, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time on the Dime site. Peace out.